day was achieved. It was achieved through the bloodshed. President Geingob departed this earthly life at a time when he was still serving his country and the people as head of state and the government. As a freedom fighter, chairperson of the Constituent Assembly, minister, prime minister, president, and a political mentor to many. Comrade Geingob did indeed run a good race. His legacy should inspire us to continue to build from where he has ended, so that Namibia could continue on a positive trajectory in the fight against the challenges of economic development, unemployment, poverty eradication, and the effective provision of public services. We cannot talk about the Constitution of the Republic of Namibia without mentioning the name Hage Geingob, because of his leading role that he played at the birth of our republic. When we were drafting the Constitution, his efforts should therefore inspire us to rededicate ourselves to the values and the ideals founded in our Constitution for the prosperity of our country and the people. Comrade Hage has left us too soon. There is a lot more that he could have done for our country and our people, should his fiscal health allow it. That notwithstanding, we recognize and value the countless contributions he has made towards the attainment of our freedom and independence, and to the social and economic development of our country. Our nation will remember him for his patriotic deeds and his contribution to the building of a new democracy after decades of subjugation and colonial brutality. Jamonas, although Comrade Hage Geingob is no longer with us, physically, his legacy will forever be remembered by Namibians whose lives were positively impacted by his deeds and by his wise leadership. Let us honor the legacy of Comrade Hage Geingob by reinforcing the policy of national reconciliation, strengthening of our democratic institutions, maintaining peace and stability, and implementing policies that can bring about tangible improvement in the lives of all our people. Lastly, I would like to acknowledge and show my sincere appreciation and gratitude to you all, my fellow Namibian citizens, for your planning and the participation in the heartfelt memorial services for our late President Hage Geingob. In all our regions, cities, towns, and villages, I do this from the bottom of my heart. I thank you all. May my fellow citizens, to our former First Lady, Madam Monica Genkos, the children of the entire immediate and extended family, I would like to say, we share your sorrow, your pain, and your loss. Our hearts and our prayers are with you during this difficult, dark time. We wish you solace, strength, and consolidation during this moment. May the Almighty God give you strength to carry on. May the soul of our dear departed President Hage Geingob rest in peace forever. Thank you.
Yes. 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 The back of the vehicle. Yes. 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 Same vehicle. Yeah. Yeah. Tell.
Excellencies, I would like first and foremost to appeal. I would like to appeal to that side there. There is too much noise there. I don't know whether you are listening. We want some order there, please. Your Excellency, Dr. Nangolo Mbumba, President, Your Excellencies, Head of State and Governments, fellow monarchs, I would like to invite the Right Honorable Prime Minister Dr. Sarah Kuongera Amadila, our Prime Minister, to deliver the statement of our founding president and father of the Namibian nation, Dr. Sam Safishuna Nujoma. Right Honorable Prime Minister.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kapofi, Co-Director of Ceremonies. Your Excellency Dr. Nangolo Mbumba, President of the Republic of Namibia, and Madame Mbumba, Madame Monica Geinkos, former First Lady, the children, and the entire Geingob family, Your Excellencies, Heads of States and Governments, current and retired, and all leaders of delegation, all protocol observed. I will read the tribute by His Excellency Dr. Sam Nujoma, founding president and father of the Namibian nation, on the occasion of the state funeral in honor of His Excellency Dr.Hage Geingob, national hero and third president of the Republic of Namibia. It goes as follows. Your Excellency Dr. Nangolo Mbumba, President of the Republic of Namibia, and Madame Mbumba, First Lady, Madame Monica Geinkos, former First Lady, the children and the entire Geingob family, Your Excellency, Heads of State and Government, past and present, Your Excellency Dr. Hifike Punye Pohamba, former President, and Madame Pohamba, former First Lady, Your Excellency Dr. Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwa, Vice President, and retired Lieutenant General Ndaitwa, Her Royal Highness Princess Anne of the British Royal Family, members of the Diplomatic Corps and other foreign dignitaries, allow me to stand by the protocol already established. We are gathered here not only to bid farewell to His Excellency Dr. Hage Geingob, the third President of the Republic of Namibia, but also to celebrate his heroic life and acknowledge his immense contributions to the attainment of our country's independence and nation building. The sad news of his untimely passing struck a deep and solemn note when I received a call shortly after midnight on Sunday, the 4th of February, 2024, from His Excellency Dr. Nangolo Mbumba, informing me that President Geingob is no more. The last time I spoke to the late President Hage Geingob was when he called me on a day before he went for medical treatment abroad. On that occasion, I wish him a quick recovery and renewed strength to continue leading our country to greater heights of economic development and prosperity. As the nation collectively grieves this profound loss of a loving husband to his dear wife and a caring father to his children, our thoughts and prayers are with the widow, Madame Monica Geinkos, former First Lady, the children, and the extended Geingob's family and clan at this difficult time. May you find solace in the knowledge that as a nation we share in your grief and join you in mourning our departed President Geingob. Fellow mourners, It is difficult to eulogize and vividly capture in words what makes a life and the essential truth of a person. However, having heard the many tributes that have been written over the past 3 weeks describing the late President Hage Geingob as a freedom fighter, a Pan-Africanist, and the chief architect of our Constitution and our governance architecture, I could not agree more with such description, as it is appropriate and fits him aptly. Indeed, it has been profoundly touching to witness how the news of his untimely passing united our nation in grief and sorrow. Similarly, the outpouring of love from all over the world is a testament to President Geingob's diplomacy of multilateralism when he said, "Namibia is a child of international solidarity and therefore a friend to all and an enemy to none." Against this background, the theme of this state funeral, which reads, "Inclusivity spells harmony, exclusivity spells conflict," is befitting as the late President Hage Geingob fervently advocated for our country's unity in diversity, reflecting our unique Namibian identity as opposed to our different ethnic identities, which he weaved together in a common tapestry through his mantra of the Namibian house, in which no one should feel left out. He will thus be remembered as a unifier because he embodied a politics that was not divisive, as he understood the immense power of unity and vehemently fought against tribalism. For those of us who knew him, those who worked alongside him, and those who loved him, it is unbearable that we will not see him again. We may have lost the commanding presence of a gentle giant and a roaring lion with the heart of a lamb, as well as the heavy accented tone of a towering figure, but his spirit will live on in the countless men and women that he mentored and trained over the years. Fellow mourners, the first time I met the late President Hage Geingob was at Leopoldville, Kinshasa in the Congo, now the Democratic Republic of Congo, when he joined us in exile in 1963 through Botswana, where he spent some time in a refugee camp before he left for the United States of America in 1964 to study at Temple University in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, when he was granted a scholarship. Subsequently, he obtained a BA degree in political science from Fordham University in New York in 1970 and a master's in international relations at the New School for Social Research in 1974. I appointed him as SWAPO representative at the United Nations and to the Americas when he was still a student, together with the late comrades Theo Ben Gurirab and Hidipo Hamtenya. Being a representative, he lobbied hard for the UN General Assembly's resolution 2145 of 27th of October 1966 to terminate the mandate of South Africa over Namibia and reaffirm our people's inalienable right to self-determination, freedom, and independence. On my recommendation, the late President Hage Geingob was appointed director at the United Nations Institute for Namibia, UNIN, an educational body set up by the United Nations Council for Namibia in Lusaka, Zambia, on 26th of August 1976 to educate Namibians for roles in an independent Namibia. In 1989, he was appointed by the SWAPO Central Committee to lead the SWAPO election campaign as director, and I handed to him the SWAPO flag during the implementation of the UN General Assembly's Resolution 435. In September 1989, after nearly 30 years in exile, when I returned to Namibia, I was received by the late President Hage Geingob in Windhoek. I recall that when I stepped down from the plane, he held high the same SWAPO flag I had handed to him on 18th June 1989 and handed it back to me. After SWAPO's historic landslide victory in the 1989 UN supervised elections, the Constituent Assembly elected Comrade Hage Geingob as its chairman. His task was not only to conduct the proceedings, but also to build confidence between diverse parties and previously warring enemies. He showed us painstakingly that he was a skillful negotiator who was not afraid to seek for compromises for the sake of a bigger goal. Because of this, he was highly praised for his skillful handling of debates, which proved instrumental in ensuring that our country's supreme law was drafted in a record time of only 3 months and unanimously adopted on the 9th of February 1990. I then appointed Comrade Geingob as our country's first Prime Minister to oversee the restructuring of the public service that was fragmented along racial and ethnic lines, and to put up the new governance architecture of an independent Namibia. He executed his role with diligence and with dedication. I was therefore not surprised when he was elected as Vice President of SWAPO Party and eventually the 3rd President of the SWAPO Party and of the Republic of Namibia. At this juncture, allow me to applaud the Namibian people for their calmness during the mourning period and for a seamless and peaceful transition of power. This is an indication that our democracy has matured and our state is stable because we have sound processes, systems, and institutions in place as envisioned by the late President Hage Geingob. In this regard, allow me to wholeheartedly convey good wishes to His Excellency Dr. Nangolo Mbuba for being sworn in as the 4th President of the Republic of Namibia when he filled the vacant post for the remainder of the term of office of the late President Hage Geingob in accordance with the provisions of the Namibian Constitution. In the same vein, allow me to extend my well wishes to Her Excellency Dr. Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah for her appointment as the Vice President of the Republic of Namibia. Fellow mourners, in according a hero's funeral to the late President Hage Geingob, we are giving a richly deserved recognition to a national hero and 3rd President of the Republic of Namibia as a recipient of many international awards, including the Jose Marti Order, which will be conferred on him posthumously by our Cuban friends and comrades in arms with whom we shared trenches together with the Angolan FAPLA forces until the final historic battle of Quito Cuanavale. The late President Hage Geingob is also a recipient of Namibia's highest award when he was conferred the most ancient order of the Welwitschia Mirabilis, and thus he deservedly enters the pantheon of Namibia's heroes and heroines. We will miss his towering presence in the corridors of the UN, the AU, and the SADC headquarters and summits, as well as at State House. But let me say to the young people of our country and Africa at large that they too can make his life's work their own. The late President Hage Geingob hails from humble beginnings, and the white minority colonial regime of South Africa thought that he will live a life of servitude because he was a child of farm laborers. However, life had a different destiny for him to endure a life of service, but not to any master other than to the struggling masses of the Namibian people, and he rose through the ranks to the highest office in the land of the brave. Looking at the scope of his accomplishments and the admiration that he so rightly earned, he has shown us that he earned his place in history through struggle and unrelenting spirit, and that is why we learned so much from him, and we can still learn from him. He taught us the importance of reason and arguments and the need to study not only those you agree with, but also those you do not agree with. As he used to say, you do not make peace with your friends, but with your enemies. In addition, he demonstrated that action and ideas are not enough, no matter how right. They must be molded into processes, systems, and institutions. Furthermore, he always demanded the best from everyone around him. In summary, he was very attentive, teachable, and a very consultative person who placed great emphasis on dialogue. Above all, being truthful was very important to him. As we bid the late President Hage Geingob a fond farewell at the end of his earthly journey, and when we have rejoined our daily routines, let us reflect on his distinguished career and what we can learn from him to ensure that the legacy he leaves behind has grown deep roots like the marula tree and good shade for future generations. On behalf of the veterans of our national liberation struggle, the Nyoma family, and indeed on my own behalf, allow me to convey our deepest condolences and heartfelt sympathies to Madam Monica Geinkos, the former First Lady, the children, the extended Geinkob's family, and the entire nation for this profound loss. As we walk through this dark cloud hovering around our nation, may we all be granted fortitude to overcome this bereavement and be left only with the most cherished memories of our departed, beloved, late President Dr. Hage Geingob. May his legacy illuminate our path as we chart the future destiny of our country to greater economic development and prosperity. May his soul rest in eternal peace. So ends the statement of His Excellency, the Founding Father. I will now proceed to call on the Namibian Defense Force Military Band to give us one item as we prepare for the next item, which is the tributes by the heads of states and government and other foreign dignitaries.
Give me a countdown. Yes, and a very well welcome if you are watching us for the first time. We're coming to you live from the Independence Stadium, where the memorial service of Dr. Hage Geingob is just underway. We've had several speakers, and the last speaker was the founding president of Namibia, President Sam Nujoma. So we're almost halfway through with the program. It got off to a very good start, although there have been some late arrivals. What's next on the program, Denver? What's left?
So right now we'll see a performance by the Namibian Defence Force Military Band. That will be followed by heads of state and government and other foreign dignitaries delivering their tributes. Then we'll have another performance by the Namibian Defence Force Military Band. Thereafter, the former First Lady, the widow, Madam Monica Geinkos, will deliver her tribute, followed by the address by the chief mourner, that is the president of the country, President Nangolo Mbumba. And then there will be announcements by the directors of ceremonies, followed by the benediction. And that more or less concludes the program for today's memorial service.
And in fact, thereafter, the body will again lie in state, which means that the public can then pay their respect once the VIPs have viewed the body, paid their respects, and left the stadium. Then the general public can then view the body and pay their respects. We will be with you until this evening when this actually happens, but we'll also be with you tomorrow morning when the actual burial takes place at Heroes Acre.
And that will conclude 3 weeks of mourning. The Namibian nation since Sunday, the 4th of February 2024, when the tragic news reached us, has been in mourning. President Nangolo Mbumba on Monday, the 5th of February, of course, declared the official mourning period to commence.
Thank you very much, NDF. Now, before I start to call on their excellencies, the heads of states and government, and leaders of delegations who would be presenting tributes, I would just like to acknowledge some of the heads of states and governments that have not been included in the list of recognized leaders when we made the announcement earlier, and others arrived after we have commenced already. So I would like to recognize His Excellency Mr. Sauli Niinisto, President of the Republic of Finland, His Excellency Mr. João Manuel Gonçalves Lorenzo, President of the Republic of Angola, and Madam, His Excellency Dr. Emerson Mnangagwa, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, and Madam, His Excellency Dr. Mokwetsi Masisi, President of the Republic of Botswana, and Madam, His Excellency Mr. Lazarus Chakwera, President of the Republic of Malawi, Her Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, President of the United Republic of Tanzania, His Excellency Dr. William Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Haimbe Mulambo, Acting Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Zambia, His Excellency Mandarapu, High Commissioner of India, His Excellency Mr. Olusegun Obasanjo, former President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Her Excellency Ms. Amina Mohammed, Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations Organization, and Her Excellency Ms. Eunice Ipinge, President of the Pan-African Women Organization. Welcome to you all, Your Excellencies. Now I would like to start with the program of presentation of tributes by the foreign dignitaries, and the first is His Excellency Mr. João Manuel Gonçalves Lorenzo, President of the Republic of Angola. I invite you to the podium, Your Excellency.
Sua Excelência Nangolo Mbumba, Presidente da República da Namíbia, Sua Excelência, Presidente Fundador, Presidente Samuyoma, Sua Excelência, o segundo Presidente da República, Ifikepunye Lucas Pohamba,
Your Excellency Nangolo Mbumba, President of the Republic of Namibia, Your Excellency Sem Nujoma, the first President of Namibia, Your Excellency Lucas Efikine Pohamba, the second President of the Republic of Namibia.
Senhora Mônica Gengos, estimados membros da família do Malogrado, Excelências, chefes de Estado e do Governo, distintas entidades, minhas senhoras, meus senhores.
Dear Madame Monica Gengos and the bereaved family, Your Excellencies, heads of state and government, ladies and gentlemen.
Cabe-me, na qualidade de Presidente da República de Angola e na de Presidente em exercício da SADC, a dolorosa responsabilidade de render homenagem nesta cerimônia profundamente triste, em que nos despedimos para a eternidade do nosso irmão, amigo, camarada e companheiro de luta, o Presidente Hage Geingob, figura incontornável do processo de libertação de África, um intrépido defensor da liberdade, da democracia e da dignidade dos povos africanos e do povo namibiano em particular, pelo qual dedicou grande parte da sua vida.
I have the duty as the President of the Republic of Angola and the current chair of SADC to pay tribute at this deeply sad ceremony where we are saying goodbye for eternity to our brother, friend, comrade and fellow fighter, President Hage Geingob, an outstanding figure in the African liberation process, a fearless defender of freedom, democracy, dignity of the African people and the Namibian people in particular, to whom he dedicated a large part of his life.
Nesta cerimônia fúnebre, ficamos sem palavras para expressar a nossa emoção e a nossa dor pela ausência irreparável do Presidente Hage Geingob.
At this memorial ceremony, we are left without words to express our emotion and our pain due to the irreparable absence of President Hage Geingob.
Em nome dos líderes e dos povos da SADC e dos nossos parceiros, gostaria de dizer que o legado deixado pelo nosso camarada, de quem hoje nos despedimos, deve ser preservado e servir como referência para a concretização dos grandes objetivos da SADC e de África, como forma de homenagearmos esta grande figura africana da nossa história contemporânea.
On behalf of the leaders and people of SADC and our partners, I would like to say that the legacy left by our comrade, to whom we are saying goodbye today, must be preserved and should serve as a reference for the achievement of the great objectives of SADC and Africa. Such is the way of paying homage to this great African son of our contemporary history.
Permitam-me destacar o papel ativo e impulsionador que o Presidente Hage Geingob desempenhou enquanto exerceu a função de Presidente em exercício da SADC em 2018, durante a qual liderou a agenda de industrialização regional, promovendo o desenvolvimento de infraestruturas regionais, a capacitação dos jovens e o desenvolvimento sustentável da região, no âmbito do cumprimento dos objetivos que a sua presidência se propôs alcançar.
Allow me to highlight the active and visionary role played by President Hage Geingob while serving as SADC chairperson in 2018, during which he spearheaded the regional industrialization agenda by promoting the development of regional infrastructure, youth empowerment, and sustainable development of the region within the scope of fulfilling the objectives that his chairmanship had set out to achieve.
Destaco ainda o papel que exerceu na defesa da paz, da estabilidade e da segurança da região, premissas fundamentais para o desenvolvimento econômico e social da nossa sub-região.
I also would like to highlight the role he played in advocating for peace, stability, and security in the region, which are fundamental premises for the economic and social development of our sub-region.
Os feitos do presidente Hage Geingob são de tal dimensão e de tão grande amplitude que não conseguiríamos descrever em breves palavras o modo como se dedicou e se entregou à causa da construção, do progresso e do desenvolvimento da sua nação, da África Austral e do continente africano no geral.
The achievements of President Hage Geingob are such magnitude and scope that we would not be able to describe them in few words. That's the way in which he dedicated himself and gave his life to the cause of building the progress and development of his nation, the Southern African region, and the African continent in general.
A dor e tristeza estão espantadas nos rostos dos cidadãos namibianos pela perda do seu estimado e admirado líder, mas estou convencido que a saberão transformar em energia para se dedicarem com vigor à construção da nação, forte, resiliente e exemplar em termos de estabilidade, segurança e paz que o presidente Hage Geingob tinha no seu projeto de nação.
The pain and sadness are written on the faces of the Namibian citizens due to the loss of their esteemed and admired leader. But I'm convinced that they will know how to transform this sadness into energy to dedicate themselves with bravery to building the strong, resilient, and exemplary nation in terms of stability, security, and peace, which President Hage Geingob had in his project of nation.
Ao longo dos anos da luta comum contra o regime do apartheid da África do Sul, Angola e a Namíbia estabeleceram inquebrantáveis e duradouros laços de amizade, irmandade e de cooperação que muito nos orgulham.
Over the years of the common struggle against the apartheid regime in South Africa, Angola and Namibia have established unbreakable and long-lasting bonds of friendship, brotherhood, and cooperation that make us proud.
A dor do povo namibiano é nossa dor e por esta razão estamos presentes para partilhar esta dor e dizer que em momentos difíceis como este podem contar sempre com a nossa solidariedade.
The pain of the Namibian people is our pain, and for this reason we are present here to share in this pain and say that in difficult times like this, you can always count on our solidarity.
Em nome do governo angolano e no da SADC, permitam-me que apresente a viúva do malogrado, aos filhos, a toda a família enlutada, ao povo e ao governo namibiano, os nossos mais profundos sentimentos de pesar.
On behalf of the Angolan government and the behalf of SADC, allow me to convey to the widow of the deceased president, his children and the entire bereaved family, to the people and the government of Namibia, our deepest condolences.
Que a alma do malogrado presidente Hage Geingob descanse em paz.
May the soul of the late President Hage Geingob rest in peace.
Muito obrigado.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency President Lorenzo of the Republic of Angola, for your tribute. Now, before I proceed to call the next speaker, I would like to recognize the presence of His Excellency Mr. Philippe Jancito Nyusi, President of the Republic of Mozambique. Having done so, I would proceed to invite His Excellency Dr. Mokwetsi Masisi, President of the Republic of Botswana, to present his tribute.
His Excellency Dr. Nangolo Mbumba, President of the Republic of Namibia, and your dear wife, Madam former First Lady Monica Gengos, the Geingob children and all bereaved, Your Excellencies, heads of state and government, the people of Namibia. On this sombre day, as we gather to repose our final respects on one of Africa's heroes, and while the mood in the atmosphere is filled with sadness at the demise of Dr.Hage Geingob, it is our fond memories of this stalwart that enable us to gather the strength to observe this occasion as a celebration of our life well lived. It is sad as we mourn the loss of a beloved husband, father, brother, uncle, friend and colleague, and yet also celebratory as we acknowledge and recognize the magnificence of his example. My wife and I, the Botswana delegation, are here today because my departed elder brother, Dr. Hage Geingob, was a true friend of Botswana. He had a special place in his heart for my people and country. I came to realize this as on several occasions when we met and conversed, he reminisced about his days as a refugee in Botswana. I always admired his humble demeanor, his straight talk, and his genuine appreciation of the contribution Botswana and Botswana made to the liberation of his country. The people of Namibia that gallantly fought against brutal colonization and also apartheid's occupation and racial oppression. While some are not as informed about the sacrifices Botswana made to the liberation struggle in our sub-region, in Dr. Geingob, I found a man who understood and sympathized with our unenviable position, which is right in the belly of the beast. When talking about his stay in Botswana, he would say to me, I open quote, in my wildest dreams, I could not imagine that one day a refugee in a small white house in Francistown would become president of his country, close quote. He would then unleash his trademark, handsome and infectious smile and chortle. I surmise that this disposition on how an individual's life chances may unfold in the course of time is not alien to us, as each one of us has some narrative to tell regarding the hand of fate in our earthly and mortal existence. Since his untimely demise, the world has been awash with messages that epitomize this remarkable man as a distinguished servant of the people, a liberation struggle icon, the pillar and gatekeeper of the Namibian house. Dr. Geingob and I shared a common vision and an unwavering determination to achieve higher levels of development for our peoples. His remarkable statesmanship endeared him to many globally. He was a true Pan-Africanist and genuine believer in multilateralism. I recall with fond memory our numerous meetings and robust exchanges on the challenges facing our people and our resolve to act in unity and solidarity to address the common challenges and achieve the goal of shared prosperity for our peoples. Our leaders' bilateral meeting, which was meant to have been held in January in Gaborone this year, remains postponed, as in his words, and I open quote, because I'm an unwell young man, but we will meet later after my recovery, close quote. President Geingob will be remembered for the 2023 bilateral agreement to allow citizens of Botswana and Namibia to use their national identity cards to cross the border between our two countries. I deeply valued President Geingob's support as a senior statesman, a confidant, and trustworthy partner in building the extraordinary partnership our two countries and people enjoy today. We are all the better for having been touched by President Geingob's influence and huge sacrifices. My confidence is firm that our two countries and people will leverage on the solid foundation built by Dr. Geingob for us to broaden and deepen our relations and strong bonds of friendship that subsist between our countries and people. I thank Monica Geingos and family for sharing and supporting him to the very end. May his soul rest in eternal peace. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, President Masisi, for that tribute. I would now like to invite His Excellency General Evariste Ndayishimiye, President of the Republic of Burundi. Your Excellency.
In the name of God, Your Excellency Nangolo Mpumba, President of Namibia, Your Excellency Monica Geingob, former First Lady of Namibia, dear sister, Your Excellency, Head of State and Government, and the Head of Delegation present here, Your Excellency, former President of Namibia, ladies and gentlemen, our protocol observed, dear sister and brothers Namibians. I am here with my wife on behalf of the people and the government of the Republic of Burundi to express our deep sorrow and heartfelt sympathy to the government and the people of the Republic of Namibia and the family of His Excellency Hage Geingob, particularly to Her Excellency Monica Geingob's former First Lady. A baobab has fallen. I stand here to pay tribute to this great statesman, a liberation struggler icon, a freedom fighter, a comrade of all African freedom fighters, and a true Pan-Africanist. We Burundians will always remember His Excellency Hage Geingob as one of the Africa's greatest statesmen who has earned his place in history as a champion of democracy, freedom, equality, human rights, and reconciliation, not only in Namibia, but also with the African continent and beyond. We draw inspiration from Mr. Hage Geingob's lifelong and selfless dedication, and effort to promote a culture of peace, harmony, and reconciliation among people as legacy of inspiration of Burundi. That is why, Your Excellency, President of Namibia, dear brothers and sisters from Namibia, you can be assured that Burundians' thoughts and prayers are with you in your grief. May the soul of